The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
130 years ago, there was a yeshiva in Prishborg. Originally, the Chassam Sofer's yeshiva. Chassam Sofer wasn't anymore with us. B'chaim. The yeshiva was run by his children, grandchildren. And obviously, like a yeshiva, like any moisid, it needed funds. There was a couple who lived in Prishborg, were well-to-do, and they were benevolent. They decided to help the yeshiva on a yearly basis with a hefty nidava, a hefty sum. Beautiful. The woman in this couple had always a very heavy heart for people who never weren't zeiche to find a shidduch, to find a match. And they got older and older, and eventually they left the world, and there was no one to say Kaddish after them. And she wanted to do something for these neshamas. So she went to Anhol of the yeshiva. I said to them, Baruch Hashem, we're able to help the yeshiva in a big way. I have a bakash, I have a request. Could the yeshiva have someone say once a day, Kaddish Yasam, for any neshama that left the world, and they have no one to say a Kaddish after them. And the yeshiva was only happy. Why not? They said, okay. And they had either the designated one bacha to say it, or someone from the Hanhola, or rotation. But the bottom line is, every day there was a Kaddish. Yasam said, for any neshama that does not have someone to say Kaddish after them. Beautiful. And this went on for years. Eventually, the husband, this Nadvan, his time came, and he left the world. And his almana, she couldn't run the business well. She wasn't capable enough. And the business started going down. She was also left with a burden. She had 2 daughters, marriageable age, moving along in time, and she could not marry them off. She didn't have the funds in those days. You didn't just marry off your child, your daughter. You had to give a certain amount of money. Even if it wasn't like the kailul life of today, the husband should be able to learn a kailul. It was just simply that the couple should have some money, that the husband should be able to start some kind of a business and have day to day. There were no programs. There was nothing available for sustenance. You needed simply, so if a person did not have money put away to marry off their daughter, very hard to marry off their daughter. So she was left with 2 issues. There was no parnasa in general, and Mamela, she couldn't give to the yeshiva anymore. And she had 2 daughters that weren't getting married because there's no money. She went to the yeshiva building, and she went into the hanhola of the yeshiva, and she asked a bakasha. She said, my circumstances is not what it used to be. I can't give the yeshiva any more funds, donations. But you know that it bothers me very much about these Yiddish neshamas that have no Kaddish. Could the yeshiva do me a favor? Continue this gewaldige teyelis of saying Kaddish every day, this Kaddish Yasam. And if Hashem will give me eventually, my parnasa will become strong again, I will restart my donations to the yeshiva. The yeshiva agreed, and the Kaddish continued. In her mind, she said, this is my biggest problem. My daughters, the Eibishter is Avi Yisaimim, they are Yisaimis. They're orphans. The Eibishter is Avi, is the father of the orphans. The Eibishter will take care. So that, she was calm. But the neshamas, the Yiddish neshamas that don't have a Kaddish, and Baruch Hashem, she was able to take care of it, the yeshiva was masking. She leaves the yeshiva building. She walks on the street, and right in front of her, there's a man with a long, white, beautiful beard. And for some reason, this old man asked this woman, what are you doing here in the area? So she says she needed to go into the yeshiva, and she had this request. He asks her, what's in general your situation? You tell me you have no money. She says, yeah, and I have 2 daughters. Hashem's going to help. But it's not easy. They want to get married. I want them to get married. And so this old man asks her, how much money do you think you need per each daughter, that it should be a good chance that Bacham will say, okay, maskim, tashidach. So she mentioned a number, a big number. And he said, you know what? I feel for you. I'm going to write you out now a check for the full amount, the total for these 2. Go tomorrow morning to the bank and cash it. Unbelievable story. Someone, she didn't know. He says to her, but you know, I'm a little concerned. It's a big amount. You'll come to the bank, and the bank won't trust the signature for such a big amount. And they might not redeem it. They might not cash it for you. I want 2 Eidim to be here, and I'm going to sign in front of them, and I'm going to give them a piece of paper with my signature also for future reference, that in case you go to the bank and they won't allow you to cash it, you'll get these 2 Eidim, you'll bring them to the bank, and they'll say they saw with their own eyes, and they recognize the chesima. She said, because she went right back into the yeshiva building. She goes upstairs, and she asks to Bacham, can you please come with me outside? I need Eidus for a certain chesima. And to Bacham came out. He signed, he gave him a paper with his signature. They should remember it. And they went back into the yeshiva, and he left. The next morning, this Frau goes into the bank. She comes to the bank, she shows the teller a check for tremendous schum, check. The teller looks at it. Something didn't seem right. He said, 1 minute. And he goes to the back, and he shows it to the manager, and tells the manager, what should I do with this? The manager says, who's here? He told him, some lady. He says, bring her back. So before they took her into the actual office of the manager, they put her into a side room. She thought already the world was caving in on her. They chayshid her. Fraud. Fake signature. Who knows what they're going to do to her? She's stuck. They put her into a room. Eventually, they told her, come into manager. The manager asks her, who wrote this check? Who signed this check? She said, an old man I met on the street yesterday. You met an old man on the street yesterday, signed this check? Yeah. She says, and I can bring you 2 witnesses that, if you need, they'll ascertain, yes, that it's true, they will confirm. So, he says, if I would show you a picture, would you be able to recognize the picture if it's that person that you saw yesterday? She says, of course. And these 2 witnesses would also be able to identify it. He shows her a picture of his father. And she said, this is him. His father was not alive anymore. And this bank manager, chalished, he fainted on the spot. It meant his father was not anymore in this world, had come to give this check to this person. And he told the teller, this manager was the actual bank owner also, the money was his. And he told her, go and give this woman, cash the check, and send her on her way. And the staff there, we went Meshuggah. What happened here? And he fainted. What's going on? So afterwards, he told them exactly what happened. He says, my father was a Frume Yid. I, Nebuch, left the fold, Nebuch. I lost my way. And I married a Shiksa Hagoite. My father, when he left the world thereafter, I did not say Kaddish for him. And last night, my father came to me in a cholam, and he said to me, you know that you went off. You know that you didn't say, you don't say Kaddish after me. Tomorrow, a woman who made sure that there should be a Kaddish for those who don't have someone, their offspring say Kaddish after them, will be coming to the bank with a check. With my check. I want you to cash it. He wakes up in the morning, he said, and he told his shiksa the story. And she laughed it off. She said, a wild hallucination. A dream has no meaning. But he says, now when she came, oh, was this a dream? A real thing. This woman, who appreciated every Yiddish neshama, and she wanted to make sure that Yiddish neshama should have a tikkun. And she made sure there should be a Kaddish for everyone, each one of these lost souls, these lost neshamas, was zeiche to get from someone who heard Kaddish that was being said because of her. For him, he helped her in return. And he came to this world, the Hockets, and he physically, with the opportunity was given in Hashemayim that he could come by Hockets and give her a check and get her on her way to marry her for children. The end of the story is a beautiful story besides this beautiful ending that we just said. That this bank manager was so nispol from so nisragish from this nefloistic mindset that happened. He was choyze b'tshuva, and he was able to convince his shikse to be migayer, emissy Yiddish halacha de geirus, genuine interest in becoming a Yid, and geblieben from a Yid afterwards, after he was choyze b'tshuva. A Yiddish neshama. There's no lost neshama by Yidden. There's no lost soul. Az Yasher Moshe of Bnei Yisrael. Every Yiddish neshama. This story was told by one of these two Bachrim that were the Eidim, the witnesses that were called out from the yeshiva to witness the signature of this old man. And his name was the famed Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnefeld, the Rabbi Yerushalayim. He said he was actually one of those Eidim, him with another big Talmud from that yeshiva, also a guy in Rabbi Yehuda Greenwald. It was Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnefeld and Rabbi Yehuda Greenwald, these two eventual Gaonim. At that time we were learning as Bachrim in the yeshiva. They were the Eids, and Rabbi Yosef Chaim himself shared this nerdike story. What a hafladike hashgacha that the Eibishter runs the world. Make sure no Yish in the Shama gets lost.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org